Good morning, and let's give another warm thank you and welcome to the Penfield Pop Band and conductor Dick Stacy. Thank you, Dick. What a beautiful day we have today, and thank you everyone that is here today to partake in this ceremony here at the town of Penfield Veterans Memorial Park here on our Kiwanis stage. Just a couple of items. If anyone needs to use a restroom and needs a little bit of assistance, we do have a golf cart right out to my right, your left, so that can help and assist you if need be. At this time, I would like a warm welcome for Bridget Doyle, a Penfield High School student, senior, who is going to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing if you would, please. And a special thank you to Bridget. We're very fortunate here in Penfield. We have such talented students. We're glad that they're part of this program. And there's going to be a lot more that will follow starting this Friday and over the summer. And it's young men and women like Bridget that make it so special. So thank you. At this time, I would like to call on Troop 310 and would ask that they lead us in the pledge. Troop 310, they are here assisting us today, and we're just delighted that these young men gave up time today to spend it here with all of us.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks, John. At this time, I would like to call on Reverend Peter Mills from the Crossroads Community Church for our invocation.
Good morning. Let us pray. God, we come today to thank you for our freedom that we so often take for granted, but comes at a price. We come today to remember and honor the memories of those who paid the ultimate act of service for our freedom. We come today to be challenged, Lord, to focus on ourselves less and give sacrificially to others more. Bless this service and open our minds and hearts, we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'm Councilwoman Paula Metzler. Thank you for coming this morning. I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker this morning. Monroe County Legislator Dan Quatro represents the 15th Legislative District, which consists of portions of Webster and Penfield. Dan was appointed to the legislature on July 8, 2004, elected by the people that November to a one-year term, and re-elected to a two-year term in 2005 and a four-year term in 2007. Legislator Quatro was re-elected for the fourth time by this community in November 2011 and was sworn in January 2012 to a four-year term in our county legislature. Legislator Quatro currently serves as chairman of the Agenda Charter Committee, vice chair of Human Services Committee, and member of the Public Safety Committee within the legislature. He's also the former majority leader of the Republican caucus. In addition to his legislative duties, Legislator Quatro is a busy doctor of chiropractic who's been in private practice for nearly 2 decades. Dan has had a long involvement with the New York State Chiropractic Association, serving as their president. Dan earned his Doctor of Chiropractic degree from the New York Chiropractic College and did his undergraduate studies at Niagara University. He's a graduate of McQuaid Jesuit High School, class of '81, and has 2 daughters, Abigail and Rachel. Legislator Quatro is a champion for our community, and it's my honor to introduce him today as our guest speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you. What a beautiful day. It stands in contrast to the 34 inches of snow that they got in Lake Placid this morning. I much prefer this. It's a perfect temperature. But as a skier, it's kind of a mixed blessing. I wouldn't mind being in Lake Placid right now. I am, though, honored to join you as we gather to participate in today's Memorial Day celebration. I want to thank my good friend, Town Supervisor Tony LaFountain, and the entire Penfield Town Board for inviting me to speak at today's ceremony. And a special thanks to Councilwoman Paula Metzler for her kind introduction, and to Sabrina Renner and her team as well for once again putting together a beautiful event here in the town of Penfield. I'd also like to recognize my counterpart, or my colleague in the county legislature, Legislator Debbie Draw, and our Deputy County Executive Dan DeLoss, who are here with us today. A dear friend of mine asked what I was going to do this Memorial Day. I responded, of course, that I was asked to say a few words at the Penfield Memorial Day celebration. She said that she had been to this event before with her children, and it was always beautiful, and that it was important. Memorializing those that sacrificed their lives so that you and I can be free to gather at events like these is indeed important. Today across this country, Memorial Day will begin with countless such ceremonies, from ceremonies in Arlington National Cemetery presided over by heads of state and filled with all sorts of pomp and circumstance, to our humble in comparison ceremony here in Penfield, filled with its traditions, music from our Pops band, the essay contest, the parade of roses. And then we'll all retreat to what, as we, as family, friends, and neighbors traditionally do on Memorial Day. Be it a day in the park, a visit to the cottage, or a hot dog or two on the back deck, a trip to the cemetery to attend to the grave of a fallen parent or brother, sister, or uncle. All of these traditions are good. We owe the freedom to join in these traditions to those men and women in uniform who have served this nation and its interests in time of need. We must never forget that we are forever indebted to those who have given their lives that we might be free. No family has been untouched by the loss of a loved one in defense of this unique American ideal of freedom. As family, friends, and neighbors gather later today, there may very well be an empty seat at the dinner table where a mother, a father, or a son or daughter are recently absent because of wars that are happening currently around the world in defense of our freedom and others' freedom. We owe it to the heroes who died and to the loved ones left behind to make sure that their sacrifices are remembered and that their service to this nation will always be honored. Now, we heard Bridget Doyle just a moment ago sing our national anthem. The Star-Spangled Banner was proclaimed by Congress as our national anthem in 1931, and in reading, in preparation for my remarks today, the national anthem, I learned something about it. That it ends that the anthem ends in a question and in a challenge. Now, I'm not going to sing it because it would do Bridget and all of you injustice, but I'll read the last two sentences from the first stanza of the anthem. It says, "Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?" Now, this first stanza of our anthem does not end with a period, but a question mark. That's what I learned. Does that banner of freedom still fly, is what the first stanza is asking. Since our nation's founding, over 1,300,000 brave and selfless men and women have fallen while protecting the freedoms that we enjoy today, died answering the very challenge in our anthem. And because of their very sacrifice, that answer to that question in our anthem is yes, unequivocally yes. The banner of freedom still does fly. Because of the fallen, the American flag serves as a symbol of freedom around the globe, a beacon, as Ronald Reagan so aptly put it, to this shining city upon a hill. The same question ending the first verse of our national anthem is also a challenge to us, those who the fallen men and women gave their lives for. In his remarks in 1983 at the annual convention of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, President Reagan, speaking of those we are here to honor today, said these words: "Our debt to them can be paid only by our recommitment to preserving those same ideals. But our recommitment cannot be for ourselves alone. It must also be for our children and for the generations yet to come. Peace, freedom, and justice are not things that were won for us 200 years ago or 40 years ago. They must be won again and again by each successive generation. And therein lies our challenge. We are the ones who, in honor of those that made the sacrifices, paid the price for our freedom with their lives. We are the ones who must recommit ourselves to preserving the great American ideals of peace, justice, and freedom. It's our duty as Americans to keep and honor the sacred promises we made to those who put themselves in harm's way. They sacrificed everything so that we may be free. We do this by standing firm against enemies of freedom both here and abroad, wherever and whenever called upon to do so. When we send our men and women into harm's way, we must be clear about why we are sending them. We must be clear first to our fellow Americans, clear about this uniquely American ideal of freedom, peace, and justice. The ideals put together by our founding fathers and defended and died for ever since. A price paid since our nation's founding by over, like I said, 1,300,000 men and women who served so honorably and paid with their lives. Future generations will be called upon to make the same sacrifices. When we send them only when called to carry this standard of freedom and justice to other parts of the globe, the ones symbolized by the American flag, and for no other reason. Our challenge at home is to stand firm against those that directly threaten our freedom, like we saw on 9/11 and most recently in Boston. And we must also demand that our leaders in Albany, Washington, or even the ones that you see here on the stage, including myself, stand firm for the ideals that those we memorialize today died for. You must demand that from your elected officials. And we must demand that the standards of peace, justice, and freedom are taught unambiguously and unadulterated in our schools to our most valued assets, our children. Parents have to teach these values at home. It's imperative, or future generations won't be able to meet the call. The last stanza of our national anthem, there's 4 stanzas. The last, I will also not sing this, but the last reads thusly. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that have made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. No question mark, but an exclamation point. Memorial Day indeed is important. May we never forget those that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of freedom and democracy. Keep them and their families in your prayers today, especially today, but every day. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to join you as we pay tribute to our heroes. God bless each and every one of you. God bless the great men and women of our armed forces. And God bless America.
The procession of roses is a unique tradition on Memorial Day here in Penfield. Members of the community and community organizations will present roses which symbolize the service and sacrifice of our veterans and active troops. When your name is read, please pick up a flag from the person up front by the last row of chairs. Proceed with the flag up to the roses at the top of the hill. Replace one of the roses with your flag. After placing the flag, we encourage you to leave your rose on the Veterans Memorial. We'll now read the presentation of the roses. Joseph Simeon, in honor of all Korean War veterans.
Richard Horwitz, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.
Casey and David Metzler, Mitchell, Paul, and Ben Krenzer, and Jean Casey, in memory of my father, Corporal David Harold Casey, Army Medical Corps, Korean War.
St. Joseph's Church, in memory of 2nd Lieutenant Thomas G. King, U.S. Marines, Vietnam.
Tim and Sue Murphy, in memory of Ensign Sean Duffy, U.S. Navy Aviator, and in honor of Lieutenant Dan Murphy, U.S. Navy active duty.
Penfield Supervisor Tony LaFountain with granddaughters Ava and Addison for the LaFountain Donovan families in honor of all Penfield residents who served in the military.
Ida Palumbo, Jeanine Vernunzio, and Rosemary Higgins, in memory of Purple Heart recipient Staff Sergeant Tom Palumbo, U.S. Army.
VFW Post 820, in memory of Bill Bouchard, U.S. Navy, World War II, and Marie Mertz, Army Air Force, World War II.
The Batolia family, in memory of Seaman First Class Angelo Batolia, U.S. Navy.
Marv Jacobs, representing Faith Lutheran Church, in honor of all veterans who have sacrificed so much for our country and community.
Town Clerk Amy Steckloff and family, in memory of Charles B. Leston, Pharmacist Mate First Class, U.S. Navy.
Southeast Bible Baptist Church, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Linda McGrain, in memory of William R.J. Mandel, Specialist 4, U.S. Army.
Thomas H. Mandel, in memory of Private First Class Harold L. Mandel, U.S. Army.
Alice J. DeGaw and Mary R. Turner, in memory of Private First Class E3, David Charles DeGaw, U.S. Army.
Burton W. Turner, in memory of Petty Officer Charles W. Turner, U.S. Navy.
County Sheriff's Office, represented by Captain Clark, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Penfield Public Library, in memory of Earl Clark, U.S. Air Force, World War II, Merle Clark, U.S. Navy, World War II, Dale Clark, U.S. Army, World War II, William Clark, U.S. Army, World War II, and in honor of Richard Goff, Specialist 5, U.S. Army, Camp Casey, Korea.
The Penfield Central School District Board of Education, in memory of Sergeant First Class Daniel Metcalf, 173rd Airborne Combat Brigade, U.S. Army, killed in action September 29, 2012 in Afghanistan.
Judge John P. Lomenzo Jr., in honor of John P. Lomenzo Sr., U.S. Army, World War II.
Penfield United Methodist Church, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Paul Fischette, in memory of Staff Sergeant Joseph Fischette, 102nd Infantry Division, U.S. Army.
Deputy County Executive Dan DeLoss, on behalf of Monroe County Executive Maggie Brooks, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Jim Byland and Kevin, Diane, Lauren, and Catherine Prinzing, in honor of Chester Byland, U.S. Navy, World War II.
Penfield Heritage Association, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Catherine Corpus and Kevin, Kim, Corey, Chris, and Katie Corpus, in honor of retired Senior Master Sergeant Lorenzo A. Corpus, U.S. Air Force, Korea, and Vietnam.
Diana, Elena, and Christopher Zielinski, in honor of Major Rob Zielinski, Army and Army Reserves, Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom.
Penfield Rotary, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedoms.
Monroe County Legislator Debbie Draw, in memory of Private First Class Thomas Quinlan, Purple Heart recipient, U.S. Army.
Penfield Central School District, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedoms.
Bob and Maggie Hessian, in memory of Major Dr. Henry M. Hessian, U.S. Army, 1940 to 1945.
Kathy Knauer, Penfield Town Historian, in honor of all the soldiers from Penfield who served for our country.
Bob Knauer, in memory of Bob Knauer Sr., U.S. Air Force, World War II.
The Naylor family, in memory of John Naylor, U.S. Navy.
Cindy Daniels Bouchard, in memory of Private First Class Rex Daniels, U.S. Army, Sergeant Len Bouchard, U.S. Army, and Bruce Daniels, U.S. Navy, World War II.
The Penfield Business Association, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our country.
Ted Karloff, in honor of Private First Class Trevor Jones, U.S. Army, active duty in Afghanistan.
Penfield Fire Company, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedoms.
Remembrance, in memory of Lieutenant Dick Light, U.S. Air Force bomber pilot.
Jim and Christine Doyle and family, in memory of William Kramer, U.S. Army Air Corps, World War II, and James Doyle, U.S. Army Air Corps, World War II.
Penfield Parrington Kiwanis Club, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Jesse Kynes, in memory of First Lieutenant Charles Kynes, U.S. Marines.
Penfield Presbyterian Church, in honor of the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our freedom.
Robert Quinn Jr. and Barbara Brooks Quinn, in memory of Sergeant Robert H. Quinn, U.S. Army, Sergeant Gabe Brooks, U.S. Army, and Sergeant Anthony Andolino, U.S. Army.
Elizabeth Printy, in honor of Petty Officer 2nd Class Thurman L. Printy, U.S. Navy, World War II, and the Korean War.
Kim, Chuck, and Wallace Graham and Mary Brooks, in honor of Senior Chief Roger Brooks, U.S. Army.
Wallace Graham, in honor of Captain Chuck Graham, U.S. Army.
Tony and Mary Ann LaPala, in memory of Staff Sergeant John A. LaPala, Bronze Star Medal and Purple Heart recipient, Company O, 75th Infantry, 82nd Airborne Division, killed in action on April 15, 1969, Vietnam.
Steve and Colleen Herlihy and Diane Parker, in memory of Sergeant Victor Herlihy, U.S. Army, World War II.
James and Joanne Reinhardt, in memory of Ralph M. Ollie, U.S. Army, and in honor of Richard Ollie, U.S. Army, Vietnam, and Mark Ollie, U.S. Army, active duty, Afghanistan.
Sabrina, David, and Camden Renner, in honor of Patrick Quigley, Purple Heart recipient, U.S. Army, Iraq, and Alan Robert Wells, U.S. Army Reserves. This concludes our presentation of roses.
This is always a very special event, the presentation of roses, and each year it gets a little bit bigger. And personally, it is just so special, and walking up and just reflecting on what this day means is just, there's just no words for it. I am honored to be an American. I am so grateful for all those men and women that gave so much of themselves to give us what we have today. The other part of that is there are so many men and women that have fought and are still with us, and they themselves gave so much to this country as well. And I would ask that if there is anyone in the audience that is or was in the military, if they would please rise so that we may recognize them. On behalf of the entire community of Penfield, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you did for us. Thank you. We have some great partners in government. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Deputy County Executive Dan DeLoss, who is here representing the county today. Debbie Draw, who's the 9th legislative, excuse me, Deb. Debbie Draw, who is our 9th district legislator, my legislator. Amy Steckloff, who is our town clerk. And we also had Captain Bob Clare representing the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. Another partner within government and local government is the VFW. And I've had the opportunity to know Andy Strawhand for many years. And I can tell you that a day doesn't go by where he isn't thinking about a way to help Penfield remember those men and women in the military. He is the commander of the VFW Post 820. And I would like to turn the podium over to Andy.
Well, here we are again. And we've got these wonderful essays. You know, you guys get to listen to look at 3 of them, listen to hear 3 of them. We had 34 this year. That's quite a few, up a little, up, down a little. Some years we get 100, sometimes we get about 15 or 20. And you wonder how in the world do you go about selecting the winners in 34 essays? First rule is you gotta read off 34 and understand them. And sometimes you understand so much of what they're doing, it's really overpowering sometimes. How do we choose them? Well, we have a system. The town first collects the essays and assigns a number to them. And by the time they get to us, they have numbers. And you know, we just don't recognize who the student is by a number. Many places think of individuals as numbers, but we just see numbers in front of us. And we have more than one judge. We've had 10 sometimes, usually between 6 and 10 judges looking at them. Now, what do? Do you put all 10 judges in one room and let them fight it out? You can't win that way. So they do it individually and they sort them by importance to the topic. And then we collect the judges' listings and put them together in the matrix. If anybody knows math, it works. You put their information, again by numbers, listed into the matrix. And you know, all of a sudden, everything is very simple. You don't remember the number of the essay unless it was one that was outstanding. But when you look at the evidence of a great number of judges looking at these essays and then letting the numbers talk, and from those we sort down and we find 3 top winners. And they're sorted by first, second, and third place by the numbers alone. So it's simple. Just follow the procedure. This time I've added to it. I've added one more name because I've got a young man that would have come in 4th place if we had a 4th place. So I'm going to throw in a special notice for him. I think there are a couple of things I wanted to mention along the way. The system works. The best essays shine through a lot. And you know, we keep getting repeaters. The same guy is in 6th grade, in 7th, and sometimes you just follow them right through. And we run another set of essays, Patriot's Pen, in which they get to express themselves another way. I've got a commercial for you. VFW 820 needs new members. So if you're a member of Penfield or the president of Penfield, and you think that what VFW is doing is worthwhile, what have we done lately for you? Well, that's always the question that comes up. Have you guys driven by Rothfuss Park on 5 Mile Line? Did you see that beautiful flag hanging out there? Did you see it? How many saw it? Hey, I like that. Thank you very much. I hope that somebody really appreciates it. My heart goes out each time I see it because I know what it cost in blood. We've got another one going too. Harris Wayland Park. I guess by the end of the month we might have a flag showing on that. We've had a flagpole up there for a while, but in an effort to really put the job done right, they've decided they had to order a different flag, a light for the flag, because it's such a tall area and a very narrow place. We'd like to have it to make sure when you come out of Lisa's barn across the street, or Weggy's, at night you'll be able to see our flag flying up there. If any of you would like to join the VFW, that's among some of the things that we do that are worthwhile. If you look up at the hill on top of you, you'll see a memorial up there. VFW was a big hand in that. See the stairway going up. I'm an old guy. I don't like slipping on grass slopes. I have a touch about grass slopes, knolls. So we put in a stairway up there for us old guys. I hope you enjoy going up it. Now down to business. I can cut to the chase quite simply here. We have more than one. First person I'd like to mention is, and I don't know that he's here, Mario Ciarante. He's from Charles Finney School. There's a funny thing about Charles Finney School. Boy, they had us locked in. They knew how to write an essay that we couldn't escape. They'd fall into the matrix, and boy, they were there. And then they slipped. I hear a teacher retired. That's what I hear. Anyway, if somebody's here from Finney, if you'd like to pick this up, I'd be pleased to hand it to you. Now we come down to our third place winner, Megan Morral. Again from Charles Finney. This is pretty sneaky, isn't it?
Our nation was founded on the ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For more than 2 centuries, these principles have guided our views on justice and the way we live as Americans. The First Amendment of the Constitution guarantees our rights to freedom of the speech and freedom of religion. Without these 2 freedoms, I think life would be filled with fear. Fear of what we say, fear of what we do, even fear of the things we read. Imagine waking up every day afraid that a casual comment or a simple library book could be your ticket to jail. Without these freedoms, where would we be? When I look at other countries around the world, I feel fortunate to know that I can speak and worship without fear. These and other freedoms are so important to us that some have sacrificed their lives for them. Benjamin Franklin said, "Those who surrender freedom for security will not have, nor do they deserve, either one." Sometimes we forget how our country became free. Although it cost many of our ancestors and family members their lives, generations of Americans have been willing to fight for freedom. These days, we often think about the sacrifices that have been made by those who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. But even though we are thankful for the service of today's veterans, we can't forget the sacrifices of those who served in other wars. 2 of my great-grandfathers served in World War II. One of them was a military policeman who helped liberate the Buchenwald concentration camp. The other one played a role at the Nuremberg trials after serving in the military during the war. Their commitments and sacrifices are a personal reminder that freedom is never free, and that sometimes we have to be willing to lay down our lives for the things that are most important to us as Americans. In our nation's past, each generation took responsibility for protecting our rights and freedoms. Now it's my generation's turn. I hope we can look to the future with our heads held high, remembering the sacrifices of those who went before us, and always moving forward in peace and unity with our fellow Americans.
Logan, don't go away. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's always more. We have a certificate from the town of Penfield. Whose name is on there? I see. That worked out, didn't it? Now, what else have we got around here? This is a different color. What's that? Okay, I have to flip that thing up. Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Hey, this is great. You won third place there, too. That's pretty good. What is that I see looking out down there? What is that?
A $50 bill.
It is? Boy, are you lucky. There you go. Hey, you know, I'm not putting it down, but boy, that is so good. And yet, we have second and third place to go. Listen up. We've got folks in here to talk to you that are well worth listening to. Annie Thorpe, again, this is Charles Finney School again. I think that's an extra plus, don't you? I do too. Thank you very much for coming. Come on, Annie. It's all yours.
It is a true blessing to be adopted as a citizen into the United States of America. I was born in Wuhan, Hubei Province, China, in the year 2000. I was adopted at 18 months old and became a United States citizen at about 2 years old. In China, there is a law that says parents can only have 1 or 2 children. My family in America has a mother, a father, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. I am very grateful to have a wonderful, loving family in America. If I had stayed in China and lived there today, I'd probably live in very difficult conditions. I might not enjoy the freedoms that we have in America that are given by the Constitution's Bill of Rights, like freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. As a Christian, I can talk and read about God in public. But in China, I would have to do those things in secret. There are 2 amendments to the Bill of Rights that are particularly important to me. The 15th Amendment says that everyone has a right to vote, and no matter their race. This amendment was ratified on February 3rd, 1870, and it encouraged African Americans to vote. This amendment also helped minorities gain rights in all areas of society. I also appreciate the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. It gave women the right to vote and was ratified August 18, 1920, after many hardships and fighting. The goal took decades and decades before it was accomplished. The 2 amendments are significant to me because I'm Asian and a female. And when I grow up, I have the right to vote because the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. No other country has the same opportunities and freedoms we do in America. I pray that the world over, people will understand that they need rights and freedoms and to be willing to fight for them. They should be not willing to live under harsh rules and governments. The Constitution of the United States of America is an amazing gift from God, and we should thank Him for it.
How'd you do? I think you did great. How do you guys already know about you did great, don't you? Well, what's next? You're going to get one of these, aren't you? Hot dog. Now, if I get the right one out, huh? Now, you got to check for me, Annie. Did they get the right name on there? Okay, it's all good. Oh, you may have that. That's from the town of Penfield. And this is your lucky day. You got 2 of them for 1 essay. You must be a famous writer. At least here you're famous. This one says, it's got your name on it too. And what's that sticking out of the corner there? Hot dog. Where are you going? Andy, thank you very much. I appreciate your help. It's really great. See, the reason I want you guys to join the VFW, 820, is you get to do stuff like this. Join up while you can. And the ladies, for goodness sakes, why don't we turn out a whole bunch of you here? We've got good ladies in our group. But to tell you the truth, we need more. Well, what's next? Uh-oh. Annie Gibbons is back. We're getting a break this time. She's from Bay Trail. Bay Trail is one of my favorite schools, mostly because they're quite active. And I wrote them a note, said, I expect clean bill of group, from Bay Trail again this year. But we did pretty good, didn't we? Ms. Gibbons, would you please step up? See, she knows the way. She's been here before. All yours, Andy. Thank you.
Everyone knows who Superman is. Bulletproof, super strong, with a big S on his chest. He stands for truth, justice, and the American way. But what about the brave men and women who aren't bulletproof, who don't have super strength? America has the strongest military in the world, thanks to those brave soldiers fighting their hearts out every day for complete strangers. It would be so easy for someone just to say, I'd rather not. They could have their nice family life, have a great job. Instead, these men and women are out in Iraq or Afghanistan, walking for miles and miles. They're watching their friends die. They are missing their families. All so that we can enjoy the full privileges of being an American. Let me tell you a few stories about soldiers who found words worth dying for, embedded in our Constitution. I'm an American soldier. I fought in the Revolutionary War. We didn't have a Constitution. We didn't have rights that the government vowed to protect. We had a king, and I fought against the tyranny of the monarchy and for the freedom of speech. I've even fought against things like the quartering of soldiers. I'm an American soldier. I fought in the Civil War for the idea that all men were created equal. Any person, whether they are black or white, deserves a chance, and I wanted them to be able to enjoy that freedom. I'm an American soldier. I fought in World War II. In Nazi Germany, Jews could not practice their own religion without persecution. When you are fighting for someone's rights, it should not be limited to those in our country. It should extend to those in other countries, those who cannot protect themselves. I'm an American soldier. I fight in the war in Afghanistan. I fight to stop terrorists from taking away freedoms, ours and those of the people in Afghanistan. I fight for the people who can't have a religion other than the one established. I fight for the girls who aren't allowed to go to school. I fight for the women who can't drive cars simply because they are women. Because deep down, we are all alike, and there is no one who can take a person's natural rights away. Every child has played soldiers at one point or another. War is just a game to them. Quite frankly, We never know what war is like until we are out on the battlefield running for cover. We don't truly understand the brutal training that one must go through. We don't truly understand what it is like to watch people die, but soldiers do. So why endure all this horror? Why not just live a quiet life at home? Because if someone didn't volunteer, who would be out there protecting our rights and the rights of others? Those men and women who returned from war, they are heroes, but the ones who have died for our rights are legends. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you again. Well, you know what to expect here, right? What have we got? Hey, don't be afraid, I don't bite. It's recognition from the town. No, you don't get that every day, do you? You do. Somebody does back there. This one is from the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And what's that sticking out of the corner up there?
$100.
Hey, you won especially, didn't you? I'm sure all of you heard that we had one of the people that was a soldier that was in our school system that has died in Afghanistan, and you heard his name announced earlier when the flag was taken up in exchange for a rose. So we're going to work toward getting his name engraved on the back of our memorial. I thank you all very much for allowing me to come here. I'm with great company. It's really great, and thank you all for coming.
I would ask that you please rise and turn to the monument, if you would please. And Scout Troop 312 will raise the flag. Thank you. You may be seated. On behalf of our entire town board, I would like to thank everyone for being here today to honor and remember the sacrifices that so many men and women gave across this great United States. I would ask that as you leave here today to spend time with friends and family, barbecues, pools, any other event that you have, that we never forget that we respect this day and we respect all of the men and women, not only who lost their lives, but those that are still here with us. And remember all of the trauma, all the sacrifices that they went through as well. Please never forget please always remember. I would like to recognize the Bracola family for providing the flowers here today. I'd like to recognize Troops 312 and 310 who helped set this event up for us today, and a number of Cub Scouts that were running around handing out programs. Penfield is really about community, and many of you may have heard me say that many times before. But Penfield is about community in so many ways. Not only our residents, our service organizations, our businesses, and everyone give so much to this community to make it so great. I'd also like to recognize I was contacted by the Outlet Rod and Gun Club, and the men and women of the outlet wanted to make sure that we observe today in a very peaceful manner. President Kurt wanted his membership to recognize the day and not to shoot, which is normally the course that we hear. And I want to give a special thank you for them and all of them that are respecting this day and supporting the town of Penfield. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Before you leave, if you have not visited the memorial, I ask that you consider stopping up. If you have before, stop back up and just reflect again on everything that all of these men and women have done for us. I want to thank our staff, Sabrina Redder and her team, PCTV, and especially the Penfield Pops Band and conductor Dick Stacy. They are here on this stage a number of times during the course of the summer, and we're just delighted that they gave up time from their family and friends and their celebrations today to be with us. Enjoy the rest of the day. Be well. God bless you all. Thank you. And I would like to recall our Reverend Peter Mills for the benediction. Thank you.
Let us stand together. I would ask that you once more just turn around and look at the flags on the hill. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the cost of freedom. Now, as you go from this place, may the grace of God be with you. You have been given freedom. You've been given the freedom to serve. Go in peace and serve well. Amen.